This video is a mini course showing how to create a commercial-grade VST plugin using Romplur, with installers for Mac and PC, and everything you need to make your own custom plugin and sell it to your audience today. I plan to sprinkle in some AI-generated images to help it pop using designer.ai. This is the same tool that I use to create these awesome VST plugins at Studio Link. From musicians playing talkbox, African Zulu warriors, to a collage of retro synths stacked on top of each other. At the end of this video, I'll provide a download link so you can download the plugin that we create today 100% free. Let's go ahead and jump into Romplur. Now that we're inside of Romplur, Romplur's made of 2 pages. It's really simple. You have a GUI editor. On this page, you can edit anything graphically. This is what you see from your knobs to your drum pads, keyboards, and more. I'll show you guys how to actually create these really soon. You can just right click. You'll see it's super simple. You can add a knob, add a fader, buttons, drop down menus, drum pads, keyboards, static images, and more. You also have a mapping editor. On here, this is what it sounds like. So you could drag in your musical samples, you could stretch them out across multiple octaves. You also have your preset manager here. I'll show you how to use that soon. So let's go ahead first and start off with our GUI editor. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and clear the GUI. Boom. So just like that, we have a fresh, brand new canvas. And then what I'm gonna do for a background image, I'm going to use an AI generated image. So we'll jump into designer.ai. I'll go ahead and log into my dashboard. Here's AI images. You can see a lot of the AI generated images that I've created over the years. What I want to do is go ahead now, we'll type in a prompt. Let's create a video game controller in space. And we'll click generate. Let's see what designer.ai produces here. Wow. Check that out, guys. So this is going to be our background image for this plugin that we create. We can go ahead and download it by clicking on the download button. Just like that, we have it downloaded. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump inside of Romplur. We'll choose the file. It's sent to my downloads folder, just like that. Voila, background image. And what we'll do is we'll type in 715 by 715. That's going to be the dimensions. That looks a lot better. Okay, so now we need to start creating. What I'll do is I'll create a label. For now, we'll stretch this out. This is going to be the name of our plugin. We'll name it game, just like this. I could play around with some of these different fonts. Let's find a cool font for it. That works right there for me. Okay, here's the game VST. What would be really cool is we could add a spectrum analyzer. This is a waveform that will bounce as music is being played. What I like to do is go down to the alpha mode, reduce that. And this is going to be the waveform. I'll have it playing and bouncing inside of this area of the video game controller. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is we'll add some more labels. This is going to be our reverb. So we'll place a reverb knob down here. So I just duplicated that label so I can quickly add the next one in. We'll have delay on there as well. Next, what I could do is we'll go ahead and add a couple more labels. Let's add a filter. That'd be kind of cool. And we'll place knobs right underneath these so you know what's being controlled. Next, what we'll do is add a drop-down menu. And this is going to be our nameplate. So this is going to be where like the name of this preset is shown. And what I'll do is I'll click the center text icon just like that so that the name shows right in the middle and it's centered. You can adjust the background color. So maybe I usually like to adjust that alpha. You'll see me doing that a lot on a lot of my plugins. What we could do is put it right under the name. That could be kind of cool. Putting it up here under the nameplate. Next, what I would like to do is add a keyboard. So we'll add a keyboard down here to the bottom of the plugin. You can adjust the size really easily. Scroll down, you can adjust the keyboard size as well. So you can adjust the key size just like that. You can adjust the key range, so you can get rid of those arrows at the right and left of the keyboard, just like this. Boom. And then you could even change the color of the keys. Like I said, I like to mess with the alpha a lot, so it just gets kind of like transparent a little bit. So just like that, now we have our spectrum analyzer. We got a couple knobs going on here. What I'll also do is create another label, just like this. And what this will be is our A, D, S, and R. So that's our attack, decay, sustain, and release envelope. Okay, so now that we have our ADSR in place, I had an idea to rearrange our labels a little bit. So just like this, we're gonna go ahead and start rearranging these. At any time, you can use the snap to grid feature. So you see the grid lines that just popped in. I would suggest for your grid width and height 30 by 30. You can enable snapping at any time and it will snap to wherever you choose to want it. I prefer to just work freehand. I don't need the snapping at this time. So let's go ahead and just start adding a knob to these labels. So I just right clicked, add a knob. This is going to be our reverb knob. I'll show you how to assign it soon. But I first want to add a custom knob, so I just chose our load film strip knob. It's going ahead and loaded up these. Boom, I like this kind of style of knob. You in the bottom right hand corner, you could resize them to your liking, just like that. That looks pretty cool. And then I'm going to just continue to duplicate that knob, because we'll use the same exact knob for all 4 of these effects. Just like that. That's looking pretty good. Next, what we'll do is add a couple more knobs down here. So this is going to be our ADSR, and I'll make this knob just a little smaller for this ADSR section. Just like that, because that ADSR is a little closer. There's not a lot of distance between the A, the D, the S, and the R letters. Just like that. At any time, you can scroll down here and you can use the X and Y to make sure everything aligns up properly. So I'll just do a super quick look at that. For the Y, it's just really where the height is. So 526, making sure that that's, see, I had an error. That one was at 525, so I just corrected it. And then 526 for this one, just like that. I can use the little arrows on my keyboard to adjust these over into place. So just like that, now I have my ADSR, I have my reverb, filter, and chorus. Now we have to assign the effect. So we'll scroll down, click on the knob that you want. So this is gonna be our reverb. And to assign reverb, what I'm gonna do is under control link, you'll see there's a long list of effects that I can apply. So this is an action that I can give to that knob. So I just made it a convolution reverb. I'll click on this knob and I will make it a delay. Choose the delay mix. I'll click on it on this knob, which is our filter. We'll go down and find our filter cutoff, just like that. And click on this final knob and we'll make it our chorus. So just like those others, we chose the chorus mix. We could do that same thing for the ADSR. Click on the knob, go down to control link, chose attack. For our decay, just chose decay. Sustain, and for the R is our what? It's our release. Just like that. So now everything is assigned. If you want to, what's really cool is I can add a drop-down menu so that users have an option of different types of reverbs when they choose that reverb. So I'll go ahead and choose a drop-down menu. I'll make that, I'll leave it. That looks better with it in for this image. That's perfect. And then for this drop-down menu, we need to give it an action as well. So we will make that drop-down menu a convolution reverb IR, just like that. So now that's convolution reverb. And then what I could do is duplicate that menu for the filter, and we'll scroll down and give that drop-down menu a filter type, just like that. So that's looking pretty darn good. Last thing that I would like to do is we'll probably need to add a gain. That's what I just noticed, is that we don't really have a gain knob. So I just duplicated this down here. We'll go ahead and make another knob. And then we'll rename this as gain. And now since we need to assign that a proper control link. Where is our gain? There it is, just like that. So now we have our gain enabled. Would actually be kind of cool. Let's do something like this. We can actually change the color of that. Maybe we'll make it green. And a little bit larger in size. So that's pretty cool. I think our plugin is graphically looking pretty good. So this waveform is going to bounce as notes are being triggered. We can click on our keyboard, and what we can do is adjust what it's going to look like. What color do we want these keys when we press down on it? I'll make it a cool kind of blue. Just like that. And what color do we want it to look like if you're just hovering over the keys? So that key over is going to be like this kind of teal color. That's pretty cool. So we can go ahead and preview our plugin now. We just click the preview GUI, and look, now we could turn our knobs. This is what it's going to look like when you're really using it. So just like that. It's coming alive. You don't see the wave analyzer. That's only when you export it out, and also your preset menu. But what I like to do next is start bringing in our music samples. So I'm gonna go into my folder of effects, just like this, and we'll drag in one of our samples. You can see you can adjust the root, you can adjust the key range. What I'll do is just bring it in. It's automatically on C3, but I can go ahead and click and extend the range of our keyboard. We'll name this preset in here effects gamer 1, and then for the name of our plugin, we named it Game VST. For the company, we'll also name it Game VST for this plugin. You can name it anything you choose. It could be your own company name. I like to just make them the same exact name for this. For the next preset, all you got to do is choose Add Preset, and we'll name our next one Effects. Let's name it Madden. It's one of my favorite video games. Madden Football. Just like that. And let's go down to this preset, drag it in, do the same thing. So we just imported it. I can adjust the key range really easily. Let's hear what it sounds like. That definitely doesn't sound like a modern sound effect. That's more retro. Let's add, so instead of Madden, that would kind of cool if we just named this like Duck Hunt. Those that are real gamers understand what Duck Hunt is. We'll go ahead and add See what our next sound effect is. Some kind of Space Invaders. So we'll name our next sound effect Space Invaders. Just like that. Just grabbing a sound effect, drag it in, stretch it across different octaves. Let's hear what it sounds like. Oh, that's going to be pretty cool. Let's go ahead next, and I have 2 more instruments that I have in this folder. This one's going to be keys, and just name it gamer keys. Just like that. I have multiple keys across octaves, so I'll show you how easy that is to drag this in. So this one's going to be dragging them in bulk here. It starts at C2, so I'll name that there. Just like that. So now you see that I have keys across multiple different octaves. What I like to do is for this last key, I'll stretch that out. And for this first key, I'll stretch that out. Perfect. So now I could play some chords. I love 8-bit sounds. We'll do the same thing for this pluck instrument that I have. I'm just having some fun with different preset names. So we're going to drag these keys in. I'll click on the first key, and then what I like to do is hold down Shift and click on another key, and it automatically will like highlight all of those, which is super cool. Convenient for dragging in samples in bulk. So if you just want to just drag in a lot of samples at one time, you could use that. So just like that, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presets inside of our plugin. So we are ready now to go ahead and start exporting. So we can go up to the top where it says File inside of Romplur. We could choose Export Romplur File. We can export as a test file, or we could choose Publish Plugin. The difference with these, if you export it as a Romplur plugin, it's going to show up in your DAW as Romplur. So it won't have your preset and your plugin name at all. I wanted to show our plugin name for this, so we'll go ahead and export. We'll publish the plugin for both Mac and PC. It will create installers for us. I'm going to send it to my desktop. We'll choose Open, and our export process will begin. This can take a little bit. You'll see the message that pops up. So just give it time, because what it's doing is it's signing and notarizing your plugin via our web servers. So it's up in the cloud somewhere, and it's creating your plugin. It's taking all of those images, compiling it all into one professional grade plugin. Okay, so now that our export has finished successfully at 100%, we can go ahead and click OK, and now we have a zip file that is on our desktop. You could double click on that zip file, and inside of that folder, what you're going to see is this. You have your Mac installer of your plugin, you have a Windows version of your plugin, and you have our .rom file. Leave that in here. Go ahead and double click on your Mac installer for this, since I'm on Mac. You see we have our installer process. Game VST is ready to be installed on your computer. You can click install, and it will automatically generate this progress bar. Now it has installed successfully onto our computer. Go inside of our DAW. So our DAW of choice is going to be Ableton. I have Ableton Live 11 on my computer, so let's go ahead and check it out. Scan for new plugins really quick. So I can go under here under plugins, I'll click rescan. Now what I should see, if I go under VST3s, we should see our game VST folder. Here it is right here. We could drag it into Ableton onto a track, and now we should have a working version of our plugin, guys. And you see that waveform is now in there. We can adjust our reverb. And I was telling you guys, you see the different convolution reverbs. So your customers will have different IR impulses. I really like that. You see delay. We can add some reverb to that. Let's add some delay. So sounds great. We can add some chorus under here. And let's check out the pluck. I just had a cool idea, so I jumped right back into Romplur. So we'll go back to the GUI editor page, and I thought it might be kind of cool to put some knobs inside of these controller buttons right here, these knobs. So what I could do is grab a knob instrument just like this, and then we'll grab another knob, we'll duplicate it, and we'll place it into here. And what these are going to be are our LFO. This is going to be LFO rate and LFO depth knobs. So with that, we'll also add a drop-down menu that I'll place about right here. So for the drop-down menu, we'll make it LFO routing. And then for the knob, we'll make this one. We'll choose the control link. This will be our LFO rate. And this one's going to be our LFO depth. So we'll choose that just like that. So perfect. Now this is our new buttons that we just added in here in the menu. We'll go ahead and export it out again, and then we can load it back into Ableton. And now let's load our gain VST again, and now we have our LFO rate. So we could choose LFO pitch. So that completes today's mini course. Go to www.romplur.com and get your hands on the Romplur application today. If you need AI generated images like you've seen in this video, use designer.ai. I'll see you guys next video. Enjoy.